This meeting is also streamed live on youtube.com/City of Monterey with an approximate second delay, and on Comcast channel 25 up to 90 seconds delay. If you plan to make a public comment, join the meeting using Zoom on the app or by telephone, making sure you join in time to accommodate the delay. To join the meeting on Zoom on your computer or phone, use the link or phone number on the agenda at isearchmonterey.org. To join by telephone, dial 833-568-8864, then enter meeting ID 1601-390-940. And if prompted to enter participant ID, press pound. Detailed instructions on using Zoom are available at monterey.org/public meetings. To make a public comment, raise your hand using Zoom, or if you are connected by phone, dial *9 to raise your hand, then *6 to unmute yourself. Public commenters will be muted until it is their turn to speak. We ask that public commenters turn off TV or computer speakers or go to another room while connected by phone, as any background noise will interfere with the broadcast. I will call on each public speaker in the order of their hands raised. The chair has designated a 3-minute time limit for today's meeting with a countdown timer shown on the screen. If you are connected live on Zoom, the timer is accurate with no delay. Please stay within your time limit so that I don't have to cut you off. We look forward to receiving public comments. Thank you.
Perfect. Great. And that was perfect because now Nick is here. Good morning, Nick. So we'll call the meeting to order, and we'll start with public comment, and which is allowing the public to speak for a maximum of 3 minutes on any subject which is within the jurisdiction of the Measure P and S Oversight Committee, but which is not on the agenda. Do we have any members of the public wanting to speak at this point?
I do not have any public comments at this time.
Okay, thank you. Next, we have board member comments. Do we have any comments from any of the board members asking for any clarification or any announcements? Nick?
No.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Then if we can move on, the first item on the agenda is approval of the February 1 minutes. Has everybody had a chance to study them?
Yes.
Would we entertain a motion to approve? I'll move approval of the minutes. And we have a second?
Second, Nick Cina.
Thank you. Do we have any public comment?
No public comment.
Excellent. Could we have a roll call vote then, please?
Patrick Aldinger.
I was not in attendance, so I abstain. Thank you.
Carol Chorbajian.
Aye.
Nick Cina.
Aye.
Rick Heuer.
Aye.
And Judy Sanderlin is not present.
Great. Thank you. Then we can move on to reviewing of the unaudited expenditures from July 1, 2020 through February 28, 2021 for conformance to Measure P and S language, please. Has everyone had a chance to look at that? Mr. Heuer?
I'm having some Zoom issues. My screen just went real tiny. I have one question on, and you're hearing a lot of background noise. I'm sorry, I've got some construction going on. There's I think it's on page 2 or 3, there's a payee whose name is Dinner, and it's an easement deed fee. And my only comment is, it'd be nice if there's something more than just Dinner listed as the payee. I'm sure that's a person, but it raised a flag for me. So Who is Mr. Dinner or Ms. Dinner?
I can look into that a little bit more. I believe she owned a parcel, but I don't know much more about that. I just remember that her name was Dominique Dinner. But I can look into that for you guys.
Thank you. To me, it's just more adding a little bit more description after dinner, just so anyone from the public looking at isn't thinking we're paying for dinner.
We're paying for meals for somebody. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
mean-
mean, great. It does say easement next to it, so, but it's the kind of thing that,
You had
always
dinner
be.
while you're working on easement, I don't know. And even an initial would help.
We can update the vendor record so that there's less confusion going forward.
Again, Rick is right. If the public comes and wants to know why that kind of, Jordan, you missed was it the Mexican rock that we were, and I don't know why isn't in my neighborhood.
Pebbles.
Pebbles, sorry. Yes, the Mexican pebbles. So it just is clearer. Anything else? I was one of them, and I guess it was in two separate, now I can't get my hands on it, areas of the number of hours, like 555 hours, Steve, of like inspector, I can't remember which was it under pavement, I think. 555 hours of inspector hours.
Yeah, so let me look at that a little closer, because basically what that is the inspections as they're going in the field, looking at the construction going on. So let me look at that number a little closer, make sure that we're legit on that one.
It was
There was one.
It was two
I'm sorry.
different people, one at 400 hours and one at 155. If I'm off the
Yeah.
top of my head.
Yeah, one would be Sal, I'm sure, and Jeff Ray, and then there's some from Tony Hernandez as well. That's
Yeah.
the inspection crew that's out there.
Okay.
Um,
And I guess it is from the time, it is the time period from July through February 28th, correct? So that isn't, it's like 14 weeks worth at 40 hours a week. But that's, I guess, not the worst thing that could happen over that time period. If it were a
Actually-
quarter, I might.
if you add up all the inspectors, it's probably well over 800 total hours of inspection time.
Yeah, no, it seemed a lot of inspector time. Thank you, Steve.
And just to let you know, there is one that we were looking at this morning. There we have a building maintenance person, Ricardo Y is his. I actually can't even say his last name, but it was miscoded. It should be to a different fund. It should not be to measure P&S.
Okay.
You mean you can't pronounce Iniguez?
I don't think that's correct. Is the problem? I think that's the way he pronounces it. I think he pronounces it a little differently. So I just say Ricardo Y, and he's all good with that.
That's like me, I'm Carol C all the time. People are like, I can't do it. I'm like, this one friend of mine says, Chorbajian is Smith in Armenian. I'm like, yeah, sure. Then I should change it to Smith.
I have just a quick question on pages 6 and 7. The descriptions, the formatting of the descriptions changes repeatedly, where there's no lines, then there are lines, and the fonts are different, as if it was like cut and pasted from somewhere. And I think we're all assuming that these are accurate, but what we're auditing, is that why it's like that? Was that cut and pasted? Is it sure that was it line itemed out per thing, or?
And it's easier when we try to build it on an Excel spreadsheet to take it out of our simpler system for the invoices.
Got it.
Because then I can just copy the descriptions and pop them in there. I can
Okay.
make sure the fonts are all the same from here on out. I try to make sure the text is.
Or yeah, I just I have to do similar things, and the description is that format, but the vendor isn't. And so to ensure that they're copied and pasted and not like off by a line or something like that, which can throw the descriptions off. I was just curious seeing it like that. It stood out as
Okay.
it caught my eye. That's all.
Yes, and the reason for that is some of the reports pull information at a level where the line descriptions wouldn't be the most informative if it just went off of the standard report. So in order to provide the most clear understanding what the line transaction is, we pull from a few different reports. So that's the reason why there is even editing.
Okay. Yeah. Sounds good.
And the one thing I think on the sidewalks, the font sizes too, for an older person, which isn't me, but maybe some other people, the font sizes changed and it got much smaller when we went down from sidewalks to pavement and ADA and storm drains. But yeah,
I'll check that from now on, that they're all the same.
it just makes it a little easier to read, which not that you can't, I just blow it up a little bit bigger so I can see better. Anything else from anybody?
Nothing for me.
Rick, nothing?
Yeah, I guess it's not really related to the reports we have in front of us, but it's more general question. And I don't know if this may have been covered at the last meeting or not, but given the reduced revenues that we're seeing and probably are going to see through this year too, we don't know how long it'll take for this to rebound. Is there a concern that we'll run out of time on Measure S? That with it was now I can't remember, 8 or 10 years, 8 that with the reduced revenues that will not complete what we are hoping to complete during that period.
Yeah, we did talk about it the last time, but just as a recap, and it's kind of the same situation. We expect a little bit of obviously we hit a little bit of a shortfall in terms of what we had forecast this last year. We hope we'll rebound fairly quickly. One of the things, as you will recall, though, is we were doing our budget based upon an $8.5 million revenue, and we were exceeding that for the first couple of years of our process. So we hope that over the course of time it does balance out. When we were doing some work during this last quarter, last half a year, we had some really excellent prices on asphalt, and we were actually able to accomplish a little bit more per dollar, if you will. Right now we're seeing the prices of fuel go up. When the price of fuel goes up, the prices of asphalt goes up, and it's going the other way. But I think that overall it's something that we can weather, and we should be okay. But to keep an eye on, certainly, though, as we go forward.
It looks like although we did spend more in some places, that I'm just rounding it off, that we have about 6 million in general over the 8 a year that we've collected over the period of years. So we have a little bit of pad. If 21, 22 can start to catch up again, then we should be okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Anything else from anyone? Do we have any public comment on this item?
No public comments.
I move we find the report consistent with what's required under Measure P and S.
Second.
Rick,
Carol Chorbajian. Do we have any discussion? Any public comment?
No public comments.
Okay, perfect. May we have a roll call vote then, please?
Yes. Patrick Aldinger,
aye.
Carol Chorbajian,
Aye.
Nick Cina,
Aye.
Rick Heuer,
Aye.
and Judy Sanderlin is not present.
Thank you. We have a unanimous vote of those present. The next item we have is the unaudited periodic report for the period July 1, 2020 through February 28, 2021. Does anyone, Steve, Lisa, somebody want to address anything that's anything different in here for us? We know the amount of money that's been collected. What if, quickly, in the amount of money now through 2/28, 21, and I know the budget's being redone almost on a daily basis. Is that consistent, the 3.4 million, consistent with what you thought it would be? Is it ahead, behind? How are we looking?
Sure, I can speak to that. The sales tax in general has been a little bit lower than when we revised the budget at the onset of the fiscal year. The city gets regular updates and forecasts from our sales tax consultant, HDL, and they have been trending down a little bit, but they have stabilized with our most recent update that we received from them. But we are due for an update in the coming week or two from HDL about all of the city's various sales tax. So at that point, we'll have a better forecast for the next, say, 6 to 12 month range.
Well, and I think also, as we are able, hopefully, starting in June, to go back into group business, the rentals and the food and beverage and stuff in the group, and the aquarium being able to be open, there'll be the opportunity for sales tax. But that, unfortunately, fortunately, will probably be next fiscal year, I think, don't you?
Yeah, the timing of those revenues, there is a fairly lengthy kind of time from which the city receives those revenues as to the underlying transaction period. So we are always a little bit in arrears, not in arrears, but there is a delayed collection point.
Yes, and yet, however, it will probably be the beginning of the next fiscal year when group business starts to when group business comes back, booming back. Let's hope. Yes, right, Rick? Yes, hopefully. But that, in which may be then even more of a consideration, because if, say, we start back July 21, it may be the second quarter before we start to see the sales tax pick up. Is that correct, Jordan?
That's correct, and it will also vary amongst the various components of our macroeconomics here on the peninsula. So we've seen a shift across many of the different industries, especially with some of the business moving to the online retailers, where that's a different method for apportionment amongst the state. So we're hoping that as the shelter in place has lifted in various sectors, that we're going to start seeing it rebound across all of the city industries.
Yeah, the one place I think for the online groceries, or where there is some, there are taxable items and groceries too, but the online groceries, I'm like, ugh, you can't even go to the grocery store once in a while and pick up at the curb. I don't know, that again would help, and maybe even just a little bit.
We can provide at the next quarter's meeting a summary of what we will have learned for our updated forecast, as well as it relates to the Measure P&S sales tax itself is broken out specifically with our forecasting materials we get. So we can bring that back to the committee and give you guys an update based on that newest data for our next quarter's meeting.
Okay. Or even if you're getting it shortly, momentarily, and we have another meeting in another quarter, I wouldn't mind receiving something that we could see before that, and then reviewing it just so we have something. If that's
Absolutely.
okay, perfect. Great. We have Rick, Nick, any comments?
I do not.
Nope.
Do we have any public comment?
No public comments.
Excellent. Then could we have a motion to accept this report?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Finding none. Any public comment?
No public comments.
Okay. May we have a roll call vote then, please?
Yes. Patrick Aldinger,
Aye.
Carol Chorbajian,
Aye.
Nick Cina,
Aye.
Rick Heuer,
Aye.
and Judy Sanderlin's not present.
Perfect. We have a unanimous vote of those present. Thank you very much. I guess then we should, we're finished now and move to adjourn. Do we have any public comment before adjourning?
No comments at this time.
Oh, Nick, one thing, could I get your cell phone number?
Yes.
Sure. Okay, thank you.
831.